Welcome to episode number 24 of the CoinSec podcast. On this week's episode, we talked quite a bit about GPUs and their availability on the market. We talked about the Syscoin hack. $100 million is available if you can hack a crypto wallet. And Electroneum is supporting ASICs. All that and more on episode number 24 of the CoinSec podcast.
You want to secure your assets.
We can crack the wallet.
Oh, we've done it before.
We've got rigs, character adversary, attribution mode.
With our private keys combined.
Building some kind of blockchain super weapon.
There's just a number of vulnerabilities that are in the smart contracts.
Math. It's probably scary.
They all secretly mine cryptocurrency.
What coin can I trust? Which one is cryptographically secure?
Don't roll your own crypto. CoinSec podcast. The CoinSec podcast is a podcast about cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies with a focus on securing them. Don't let the hum of our dual-purpose crypto miners / password crackers in the background disrupt your listening pleasure. This week is episode number 24 of the CoinSec podcast, and I'm your host, Bo Bullock. Today, we've got all our hosts back. I think this is the first one in 5 episodes, I think, that we've had all four of us here. But we have with me today, Mr. Mike Felch, a.k.a. Scorpion King. How you doing, Scorpion King?
What's up?
I feel like he needs his own intro music now.
Yeah, exactly. Some very theatrical, boom, 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 boom. Mike Felch.
I do hunt scorpions every night now.
What a skill! What a skill!
Also, we can definitely talk more about the scorpion hunting here in a bit. We've also got Steve Borosh. What's up, Steve?
Hey guys, how's it going?
What's up, Steve?
My hash rate.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah, working it hard.
Doing good. Just got done having a good 4th of July, and things are going well.
Yeah, happy 4th, you guys.
Yeah.
We're recording this on the 5th, so I think we're all hopefully recovered by now.
Sufficiently, yes.
Yes. Ralph May, what's going on, Ralph?
What is up? I am all done blowing up all my fireworks. I blew everything I had. Everything. My dogs hate me, and they think it's the puppy purge every year. So.
Oh, dude. They just hide in the depths of any room they can.
Yeah, I think it's their most hated holiday. It's not really their favorite. But anyways, yeah, I'm doing good.
Awesome. Well, I guess we can either jump right into the state of the market, or we could talk about hunting scorpions.
Yeah. Okay.
Mike, how's Arizona, dude?
Do it.
It's pretty hot, dude. So
Isn't it a desert? I don't know.
it is. It is, but the heat here is bearable. You need to stay hydrated. Yeah. No, outside.
Okay.
I think my house right now is probably 74 degrees, 75. But outside, it's pretty good. I mean, you walk out, it's hot, and you feel it, but you don't sweat, so it's bearable. At least I feel like it's bearable. Florida, you walk to your car, you're sweating.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have it anymore.
Well, it's like 9,000% humidity here, but
True.
That's different.
It's kind of like opening your oven.
So you have a bit of a scorpion problem.
Yeah, so I walked into this house, right? So the housing market out here is moving really quickly, right? So houses don't stay on the market, but for 2 days, 3 days. And so we were having a hard time finding a place from Florida out here. And so we ended up locking one in just by the pictures online, because, pictures online never tell lies, right? They're always the real deal. So we ended up committing, and it turns out the house is great, the neighborhood's great, the location's awesome. But we have a little bit of a problem because the house sat for about a month and insects built up. And because we actually have grass out here, this neighborhood has grass. So our yards have grass instead of dirt and rock, like most houses out here.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the grass means water, with the water means insects and water means scorpions. And we walked into having scorpions in the house, outside the house, in the garage, everywhere. And so in all the years that I've lived here, I've never seen scorpions, and now I've probably killed 5 last night outside, and we've been checking every night. So the cool thing, this is the cool part. The cool part is these scorpions light up under UV, right? So you can imagine UV like you're back in the old school raver party. Taking these UV lights outside, they light up like, yes, that's a techno playing in the background, you're good to go. They light up like super yellow.
Oh, wow,
And,
that's weird.
It is totally weird. So you could just kind of scan the yard with a UV flashlight and you'll light them babies up. So then we get some the scorpion spray and we kind of just hunt them down and kill them. So that's kind of what we do on a nightly basis to kind of keep them out. We got Terminix out here. They're hooking us up. They've been doing some guarantee stuff. But anyway, so what we've done is, I have these Arlo cameras, right? You remember the ones I have at my house, like the surveillance or whatever? So these Arlo cameras, super cool for security, not as cool as Ralph's network, but these ones are cheap. You can get them from Best Buy. They have like an IR light on the front so you can see in the dark. But what I'm doing is I'm covering these IR lights up, and I found on Amazon these UV like floodlights, and what I'm doing is I'm going to be setting these perimeter up around the outside of the house so that the motion detection on the Arlo will detect the scorpions that get lit up by the UV lights from the flood, and then it'll send me an alarm, and then I'll be able to go out there and zap that beast. A lot of people like burn them out here. So I'm building me a little makeshift scorpion monitor system for the perimeter of the house.
You could buy one of those Tesla fire or flamethrowers and then automate it.
Until there's like a false detection on like a squirrel or something.
Or a kid.
Or a kid, yeah, even worse. I mean, I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, it's worse. I'm trying to sell some like cookies or whatever. Boy Scouts just like.
Well, no, it's gotta recognize the right, UV signature.
Okay, all right. So
Sure, they don't light up unless UV.
Yeah. I feel like this is artificial intelligence capable, right?
Sure, we'll call it AI.
Yes, thank you. We're going to market it
Yes,
as AI.
we take the scorpion signatures, we hash them, and store them on a blockchain.
Yes.
Perfect. And then now you have like a unhackable ledger
yes.
of detections.
An unhackable next-gen blockchain artificial intelligence scorpion detection.
You should ICO
Wow.
the scorpions.
Oh man, that coin should be worth at least a couple bucks a piece.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I'd
So
buy it.
that's what my world has been, scorpions.
Awesome. Well, I hope you get
Survive.
moved in well.
Yeah. You should start like a Twit live stream where like when they light up and then they just see you run out there and kill them.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's going overboard, but I think it'd just be.
So the price is actually up this week, which is nice, since last week anyway. Last week we were looking at a $236 billion market cap. We were at $269 billion this week, July 5th, 2018. Bitcoin is up about $740. So it was at 5,900 last week, and it is sitting about 6,640 today. Ethereum is at 472, up from 422. Ripple is at 47 cents, up from 44 cents last week. I actually saw that Wall Street's Tom Lee, he's one of the guys that's like been quoted a lot in like forecasting like the price of Bitcoin and stuff. So he, at the beginning of this year, he had predicted that Bitcoin was going to be $25,000 by the end of 2018. And apparently he just reverted that to like 20,000 now. So not quite as high as he's thinking. So we'll see where we end up in December,
Yeah, you never know. This could change so fast.
Sure, absolutely.
We don't know what happened. It's like $5,000 today. I mean, something happened.
Seriously.
We just don't know what. But
Isn't Syscoin up like 1 million?
Yeah. That's we will definitely talk about that momentarily here. We got a story for that one. That was an interesting one. But yeah, I mean, I guess we can jump right into the news here. Actually, before we jump into the news, Mike, you had another interesting project recently that is very relevant to this show. What is this thing?
Which one?
What are you building, man?
go. I'm building a rig.
He's
man.
building a mining rig.
Building a rig.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, these freaking cards. Let me tell you something. These gamers, like, I love gamers, right? I have some friends that are like professional streamers, but dude, seriously, limiting me on the number of cards that I could buy from Amazon, really? So I ended up buying the 1080s, and so Amazon pretty much just stopped me at buying 3. And so I might have played around with the rendering on the page to see if I could bypass any of these stupid limits, but it didn't work. So I ended up going to Newegg, right? And I haven't purchased anything on Newegg in like, I don't know how many years, 7 years, 6 years. And so I don't even remember my account. So I created a new account. I go there, I find the exact model cards that I have because I kind of want them all the same. And then I add them to the cart. I add 5. And they let me check out. Life is good. Until I get an email a couple hours later that says, we've canceled your order, or we've refunded your order, and we've suspended your account. All because, I guess evidently because I just moved and I don't know what billing address I have on my debit cards, because my wife, we have like 4 addresses because all kinds of reasons. We're still moving technically and transferring. So I used the wrong billing address on the credit card. They thought it was some fraudulent activity. I guess people buy GPUs illegally, and they thought I was some malicious person using my legit email to buy Newegg
Man,
GPUs.
that's like a zero tolerance policy, man. Like you basically just shipped it to the wrong address, right? Or you had a card with the wrong address and they suspended your account.
Yeah. And they refunded it, but it just sits in there pending in your account for 4 days. So you
That's
got like
brutal.
$3,000 sitting out there in the middle of nowhere.
So you should have just bought with Bitcoin, man.
Well, I mean, think about it this way, though. If that was fraudulent, right, and they didn't stop it, they're going to eat the cost on it, right?
Sure.
The credit card company, they're going to give you your money back, right? But but that money is coming from the vendor, right? They're responsible.
True, but you also, when you're processing and you're using your payment processor, you would think that it would have been real-time validation rather than after they've already sucked money out of your account.
Sure. I mean, they should have been able to correlate the address pretty quick, right?
Right. But usually it just says invalid address or invalid billing information.
Yeah.
So I ended up finding a little loophole. So Fry's Electronics, we have Fry's here, which is like the best store in the entire universe. Fry's Electronics has everything. So I looked up, we have a couple here in the valley, in East Valley, and they had 2 there, and they had some in Phoenix. So I just went and started buying them. They don't limit you, and they do price matching on Amazon. So I just bought them all, and they price matched Amazon. So
Nice. So how many cards you got?
so I'm doing 8. I'm doing 8, the 1080s, and
Doing an 8 rig?
yeah, I wanted something. I don't know. I didn't want to do the 6 because I feel like if I at least do 8, I'll be straight for a little while. Everybody's going to start jumping up, I'm sure. I've seen some that were out there for the 10s, and some of these new AS, like the AS Rock, supports more kind of on board now.
Yeah.
So,
a lot of people have been complaining about going over the 8 mark, right? Once you get into like the 12 or trying to get like 13 off a board, people are, even though I think there's some boards actually that go up to 20, but like they haven't been able to get them to all to work unless they have a very specific graphics card. So
I saw
as well. Yeah, so I think 8 is a pretty safe bet, right? Anything more than that, you might have problems. Might.
Yep. So I did that.
On the topic of graphics cards, real quick, I just posted a link in the show notes about NVIDIA having a 1 million card stockpile of their next gen cards, like the ones that are about to come out. I guess they're getting.
I thought it was the old ones that they had too much stock of.
So I know they have that too. So they have around 7 million graphics cards total. 6 million of those are the old ones, and they have 1 million of the brand new ones. And apparently, they're expecting like a drop in prices for GPUs in July of about 20%. And
well, we're almost at MSRP right now. I was running the numbers the other day, and we're like real close to MSRP on all the cards. So
yeah, apparently a lot of like farming, like mining operations are closing their doors, and those cards will probably be flooding the markets pretty soon.
Oh.
So I'm wondering, so the next gen ones with only 1 million, do you think that people will spend less money to buy the older ones when they flood the market, or do you think the new ones will be worth it? Like, do you think that they'll see the same problem with an influx of miners? Like, let's say October, November timeframe, or whenever they release the next gen ones. You think people will? I don't know. Is it worth buying like what Mike's doing right now? Like, buy 8 right now in July of the older models, like the 1070s and stuff, or wait until like October, November to buy the next gen models?
It depends on the performance, right?
Yeah.
Well, the performance from what I've seen is pretty high up there, more than Titan XPs, just for the 10 or what do they call them, the 1170s and the 1180s.
1180s, yeah. I mean, but you got to realize, if the performance is that great, though, I mean, the 1080s are going to be going for like nothing, man. I mean, people are going to be cutting the prices left and right, especially on the used market. I mean, just to get people to buy them, especially if you're offloading like a couple hundred of these suckers, you're going to have to give them a real good deal. It will be interesting.
Or we could just all move to ASICs, right, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you can mine all that Electroneum you want.
So go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, so this is interesting though, because you were talking just about ASICs, right? But like ASICs kind of like have their lifespan, and then their price really goes down as the better ASIC comes out that replaces it. But you can still use graphics card to play video games, right?
Exactly.
So it still has a value even after you can't mine it, or mining's not useful. But the 1080 is still going to be a very viable card even when the 1180 comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as gaming goes, let's just talk gaming. I don't think there's any game that a 1080 or a 1080 Ti really render.
Yeah, or if you're in the security industry, as a pen tester or something, you can always use that for password cracking too.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but with so many extra cards on the market, though, I think the price is really like they're kind of saying in this article, it could really be a buyer's market finally.
Well, if all those new next gen cards come on the market and they start mining coin, difficulty is going to go up. Then is your older gen card even going to be able to keep up?
Good point.
What'll be fine for games?
Sure.
So NVIDIA is going to be sitting with, all the crypto miners buying the million stockpile they have, and then they'll have 6 million old cards that are basically worthless to miners, and all the gamers are going to be pissed off again.
The vicious cycle.
I heard that's why they're delaying the cards, though, right now. Like, if they're holding off from releasing that 1180.
So I don't understand, if you're NVIDIA and you're sitting on a stockpile, why don't you throw those babies in a rig and start mining some coin?
That's a great point.
I wonder what the actual cost is to make those cards, like what the markup is, and where they'd actually start losing money. But it's definitely going to affect the profits. But I heard that they're waiting to release the 1180 to try to get rid of all of those other cards that they have right now in the old gen, even though they're stockpiling up like the 1180s that are going to be the new gen stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, this is obviously speculation about why they're doing it, right?
It's surprising that they have that big of a stockpile. Is there a reasoning why they have that? Because I feel like around December timeframe, they sold like a ton and the prices skyrocketed because there was a low availability of the cards.
Maybe, and this again is just me totally spitballing this, but maybe they're holding on to these cards because if they feel like they flood the market too much, that'll drop the value too much, right? So they're trying to sell them, but they know if they sell them too quick. And I think that they ordered more than they needed, thinking that the demand was going to continue to outpace supply. So, which they also talked about being worried about that too. So, but whatever.
Interesting. So, Mike, anything else interesting about your build that you're doing? Are you doing an open air case?
Yeah, it's open air case. So I'm working on I'm doing some research on doing it so I could use it for work as well, right? Because we have testers that share the rigs that we have now, and I want something that I could just kind of take some hashes and then throwing them into some sort of user interface and then having halt mining so I can start cracking. And then once that's done, switch back and kind of have it real easy so I don't have to worry about like stopping and starting services and kind of controlling all that. I want to like streamline that whole process. So that'll be there, and nothing else that's too special, really. I mean, it's just your traditional mine.
OS wise, we kind of talked a little bit about Windows versus Linux, and then you asked me about EthOS earlier.
Yeah. I don't know anything about it yet. I just saw it on there, and I started looking into it a little bit.
Steve, have you used EthOS?
No, I use Windows mostly because of the amount of mining software that's out there is greater than for Windows than it is for Linux. So for me, it's been easier just to operate from Windows. So I haven't really touched EthOS. I mean, if you know what you want and you've got Linux binaries to do the mining for you, then yeah, I think it would be a good option. But I haven't played with it personally.
That's what I typically use. I use Ubuntu, and the main reason is because I want to just be able to like SSH into it and do everything from command line that way, you know?
Right.
I mean, that's what this does pretty much. And it looks like it's all, I mean, Ethereum, Zcash, Monero, pretty much all the standard GPU coins. And then it supports up to 16 NVIDIA GPUs, which I'm not going to plan on going that big. And it's super lightweight, and it seems like it's been out for a little while. So I was thinking about giving it a go. I wasn't sure what it was built on. I haven't really dug into it much.
All right, cool. Well, good luck with that. We will definitely get updates on your rig, and Ralph, your rig's been up and running, right?
Yeah, I actually moved some space out of my rack. I ordered a 6U GPU mining rack mount designed for 8 cards. Pretty efficient way to kind of throw it in the rack there, as opposed to being on the table, which I've had it on for right now.
Nice.
So moving to a rack mount rig, and then building out, trying to make it as quiet as possible. Those 1070s are pretty quiet, but putting it in the rack and stuff. So it'll be nice once I get it finally going. It'll be more kind of clean, especially when I'm using it for other things too than just mining, because sometimes I use it for password cracking as well. So
what are you mining currently?
What's up?
What are you mining?
I've been mining Ravencoin.
Okay, yeah. Nice. What about you, Steve?
Mining Ravencoin as we speak. It's been flopping between that and Bitsend. Bitsend's been pretty profitable for my NVIDIA cards.
Nice. What is, so I don't know, like I know we've talked about Ravencoin, but what is Bitsend? Haven't heard of that one yet.
Just another basically Bitcoin fork.
Okay.
With some additional features. I'm not 100% sure on all of them, but it's just one that I like to keep because profitability is leaning towards positive all the time. So it hasn't been a total S coin. If you want to read about it, it's at bitsend.info. So their claim is Bitsend is digital cash you can spend anywhere. So I think like everybody else, they're trying to make theirs pretty mainstream. It is a masternode network. So if you're interested in masternodes, you can check out masternodes.pro and see like what the cost is to get on other masternodes. But this one's pretty expensive. I think it would cost a couple tens of $1,000s to open a masternode of Bitsend. So
Okay.
I don't think you're going to mine it enough of it to start one right away.
Didn't you recently actually get a masternode for some coin?
Yeah, came and went with the coin.
Wow.
So yeah, so we were mining Zerum Cash, yet another Bitcoin fork, different algo though. But yeah, so I got up 2 masternodes started, was running for about 3 weeks, and then the project disappeared from GitHub, and that was all she wrote.
Wow. Okay. So
Jesus.
So such is the life of An altcoin, you know?
We should probably, what we should do is actually like build out a masternode and maybe do a little bit of research behind like some security issues with having a masternode, and maybe do an episode on that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Cool. All right, you guys ready to jump into the news for the week? The weekly coin security news.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. First story. $100 million crypto wallet bug bounty. This one I saw and thought was pretty interesting. So I believe I'm saying this right. The HOYOS Integrity Corporation, HOYOS, HOYOS Integrity Corporation. They're a global secure mobile telecommunications as a service provider. So a lot of buzzwordy stuff in there. They announced that they launched the world's first global hacker challenge, which that doesn't sound accurate because I'm pretty sure there's been a lot of global hacker challenges. But they basically put $100 million worth of its own token, Ryzen, RISEN, into a public crypto wallet, and then they secured it with a unique and proprietary biometric lock system that is allegedly going to keep it secure. So they actually in this post they actually posted the public key and the private key, which actually is kind of interesting to this wallet. But apparently you can't actually, or you're not supposed to be able to anyway, like transmit it out, even having the public and private key, unless you have some sort of biometric like factor that is in control of them, presumably.
So when we say biometric, what do we mean? Do we mean like fingerprint?
I like to think it's like a DNA sample of some kind. Maybe a piece of brain tissue.
Yeah, we should look into that side, because I'm just thinking, like, this is my first instinct, right? This is the first time I've actually seen this article this today. But if it's biometric, I mean, depending on what it's using, right? I mean, what does biometric actually mean? And then if we found that out, I mean, what kind of key space we would be looking at for, biometric?
Good
I don't know,
point.
just kind of. And then if you could figure out some more of the specifics around how it was generated, maybe you could even identify, like, well, that technology only uses this for the random number or the pseudo-random number generation. I don't know. It might be interesting to dig into.
Yeah, if you want to look at it, their website is hoyosrisen.io, HOYOSRISEN.io.
So it looks like the biometrics is fingerprint. Sorry.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
So in a fingerprint, I mean, how many unique, you know what I'm saying? How many unique possibilities are there? Probably a lot, but.
Is there like collisions in fingerprints? Like,
I don't know.
can two people have the same fingerprint? Like,
So,
Is that
all right,
possible?
so in terms of like hacking it, right? Like, so does this? If I have no idea how the app works. I have not downloaded it yet. Maybe I should. But basically, would the alleged like attempts at stealing this from them be us like installing the app on our phone and then trying to like see if our fingerprint works, and then, or like trying to like, I don't know, like fake a fingerprint, and that's all that it necessarily would be? Because I mean, if you have the public and private
That's
key, it
the-
just need a third factor, right?
Yeah, you know what would be a good start would be, do they have Android? They do, iOS and Android. So take the Android app, reverse engineer the Android app back to see where the private key is used in order to make transactions, figure out what they're feeding the function for the decryption or for the signing, and then figure out what size value that they're passing in, and then now you know kind of what it takes in order to get it. Then really it's about, well, how do I take a biometric fingerprint and generate that output in order to feed it to that function?
Mm-hmm.
And then the other side of it is, I guess, if it's using the phone's fingerprint, which is probably what it's doing, right? That's probably what it's doing.
Yeah,
It's probably using the iOS Android built-in function.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I.
fingerprint in order to store it.
So now, if you're listening to this show and you actually do this and are successful, you best come like at least, I don't know, like give some props on the advice Mike just gave you.
Set you up for success.
Yeah, it's secured natively. I guarantee it. It's the hardware. It's the native fingerprint hardware, which is going to be stored in Trust Zone more than likely, or the secure enclave for iOS. So iOS is probably not the right approach. I'd probably take the Android approach.
Well, it looks like this one is its own like phone that is running a version of Android. It looks like. Yeah, a new hardened smartphone with military grade OS. I'm sure when I say military grade, it's some version of Android.
So there's no app to download?
I think the app is included on the phone.
Yeah.
It says well, I'm looking at the Ryzen smartphone. So maybe there's just an app. I don't know.
Huh. Interesting.
But I mean, it does seem real scary in those unhackable words. They don't use that exactly, but they say, imagine no one being able to hack your phone. I'm like, well, that'd be great, but that's like a fairy tale.
Okay, so all right, so where is the bug bounty then? Like if you have to have the phone, do you have to have, like, do they ship you the phone? Oh, here you go.
So it's hacking
contains...
100 million token.
So they don't give you the app?
Oh, they give you the logs. They give you the transaction logs. It's on Etherscan, so it's Ethereum. Wallet balance. Oh, I see what they're doing.
So
There's a smart contract.
Okay, so it's had over 300 hacking attempts, right?
Which probably means transactions to the smart contract.
Interesting.
My network sucks right now. Otherwise, I'd tell you. Yeah, so transactions, 320 transactions on the Ethereum smart contract. So what they've got a lot of people just sending them Ether. That's what they're doing. That's hilarious.
So I don't.
So,
all right. So like,
here's the hacking challenge. Okay, I don't know what the address and price. I mean, they give you the address, right? So you can kind of pull it up on Etherscan.
Right.
So they deployed a smart contract to Ethereum. And in order to call the functions on the smart contract, you have the transaction fees.
Sure.
And then you're having to send value, right? So they're sending zeros, but they're sending transaction fees. So it's costing people in order to try to hack it. And if you look at the transaction count, there's 320 transactions, which meant the hacking attempts probably 320 now. Actually, it still says 319. They're probably not live. It's probably updating every once in a while. It's not real time. So we should look at the contract. That's what we should be doing.
Cool. Well, maybe we can work on this a little bit offline. All right. The next story, Electroneum fork back to ASICs. Steve, please give us some light on this.
Yeah, this is kind of a first, right? Everybody seems to be forking away from ASICs, and even Electroneum did in their version 6 hard fork. So this time around, after the last fork, we talked on the show about how the hash rate was so high that the GPUs couldn't catch up, and it literally took like a day and a half or so for the hash rate to get up there enough to where blocks were being broken.
Mm-hmm.
So they seem to think that the stability of the network is in question right now with just GPU miners at the current rate. Well, nobody's really mining Electroneum anymore because it's not worth anything. So I think they've kind of shot themselves in the foot on this one. And now they've reverted back to, there's literally a switch in the code. If you look at it on GitHub, all it does is check the fork version, and inside their code, there's a basically anti-ASIC function, but this just switches it off because it's above it's hard fork 7. So it says if the hard fork is equal to 6, you're ASIC resistant. If it's not equal to 6, you're back to allowing ASICs on the network. So I haven't looked at since the switch, I haven't looked at the hash rate because I really don't care anymore. This coin has burned me. Has burned my will to live. So I've pretty much given up on Electroneum. We'll see where it goes, but they've just had so many problems. It's kind of hard to stay on board with them.
One thing I thought was kind of funny, reading through the Facebook post that they posted for this, there's a statement in there that says, if you're a mobile miner, nothing changes.
Yeah, because there's really no such thing as mobile mining, right? We talked about that before too. They just give you free coins just for having the app turned on.
And we still are kind of wondering what the hell that's all about.
What the hell it does. Yeah, right.
But the other thing, all right, so it says that you just need it's back to the Kryptonite algorithm, not the Kryptonite V7. That's what you're saying, right?
Exactly. Yeah. If you want to go mine Electroneum right now, you need to find a pool that has done the upgrade, and even during the last upgrade, several pools just shut off. We shut ours off for Electroneum too, and it's just now everybody's got to go back to Kryptonite. So I think we'll see Electroneum back on the malware scene again here pretty soon, as far as cryptojacking is concerned.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Even though the ASICs will be on the network, it's back to an algorithm that CPUs and stuff can handle. So they'll still point their botnets and stuff at it.
Cool. All right. The next story is Syscoin trading halted. So this was actually pretty big deal. So Syscoin's blockchain experienced delays, coupled with a widely irregular trading activity that actually took place on Binance. And this is what Mike was joking about earlier, where Syscoin was worth $1 million or whatever. It wasn't quite that much, but it was close. This issue temporarily gave the Syscoin a price of over $640,000 per coin. And that's just a bit off.
Seems a little weird. I don't really see a lot of information still about it. I mean, I've seen some updates that Syscoin made, but the only thing that I see that seems to be pretty stable is that I guess one Syscoin was basically bought for 96 Bitcoin. Is that what you've seen? I mean, I don't really see much else besides.
Yeah, so on the Binance side, there's two sides of this, right? There's the Syscoin, like blockchain side of it, and then there's the Binance side where the actual odd trading happened. So on the Syscoin side, apparently 1 billion coins were transferred at the same time, it's crazy because there's only 888 million in total supply. So yeah, that doesn't make any sense, right? Like there was a bug and somebody tried to do something weird, allegedly. And then I guess they came out and said that the concentrated block issue was actually due to the majority of miners they had higher fee policies, and the smaller miners picked up the transactions when they won the block. And it says that they saw 100 of transactions combined to these blocks with higher output values, which is why they see the totals much higher than usual and even higher than the total coins mined as it was for this case, which that, again, doesn't make sense. There's definitely some issue there, but I guess whenever that happened, I don't know, I guess I have no idea how the price got that high. Like, that's definitely a very, very suspicious thing, right? I mean, $640,000 for a coin. I mean, Bitcoin has the highest it's ever been is 20,000 for a Bitcoin, the most popular cryptocurrency out there. So $640,000 is beyond insane for a single coin for any cryptocurrency. And so Binance, due to the irregular trading, they actually suspended all the API keys, which is even more suspicious. I mean, I think it's crazy that a single coin can have an issue, right? Like Syscoin, and then all the API keys get reset for an exchange that has, hundreds of cryptocurrencies on it.
So somebody, I guess this article was saying that it's indicates a flaw that has been found and exploited at the protocol level.
Yeah, if you look a little bit lower, it even talks about how in 2010 Bitcoin had something very similar where a transaction created like 184 billion Bitcoins or something, some crazy amount. And it was some 184 billion Bitcoins, which caused a fork back in the day. So some sort of overflow. I wonder. It makes it's a little bit interesting. I don't know. But I still don't see enough like firm data to confirm one way or the other. Right?
Yeah, there's not a lot of information about it.
At this point.
One
Still
thing
what happened yesterday too, so it's not like it.
Right. It's brand new.
Yeah.
One thing that I thought was interesting is like, all right, so if you have like a trading bot set up, like how flipped out would you be if you saw that you sold a single coin for $640,000? Like any coin, that'd be crazy. And then on the other side, if you somehow manage to like have some sort of automated thing happen, or like where it buys something for that much. So Binance apparently, so this is their response to that. They said they acknowledged that I guess they did system maintenance, and that they've announced they will offer a zero fee trading between July 5th and July 14th to all those who were negatively affected by choosing to trade the rising Sys price. So what that says to me is they're not reversing the trades that happen. So like if you like lost $100,000 or $640,000,
you're out.
That's you're screwed. But hey, you know what? You can have zero fee trading for a week. Interesting. They also started some sort of separate fund named the Secure Asset Fund for users to reimburse its users in situations such as this time. So I guess I don't know if this case they're doing the reimbursing, but they definitely started something because that's, I don't know, it's definitely an interesting issue to have, right? Like if you have like, I don't know, a trading platform where markets can drastically change like that, like in the blink of an eye, then people might get screwed over, on accident. But I guess at the same time, you don't want your trading bot buying at the peak, right?
Yeah, you got to be able to set some thresholds in there, or else, you're going to get bit.
And you know what? On a completely separate note, if you're storing $700,000 worth of Bitcoin on an exchange, don't do that. Take it off.
YOLO.
Yeah, right.
All right. Maybe we'll have more on that story next week whenever we get some more information. Next story. Florida CFO advocates for government overseer for cryptocurrency. Guys, I'm going to be the cryptocurrency chief of Florida.
You should do it, man.
I will vote for you, man. Got my vote.
Awesome. Okay, so this is Mike's story. I'm going to let Mike talk about it.
Oh, no, it's yours. You live in Florida.
Oh, he's abandoning us.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not a Floridian anymore. I'm not taking this responsibility.
No, I mean, I was just joking anyway. But really, this article is interesting because you see these people moving, like, obviously the government moving into a more overseeing stance on cryptocurrency, and they're doing it in the light of we don't want our citizens scammed, as if the government is going to be able to stop any sort of scamming. I mean, I don't know what they're doing to kind of stop a lot of the traditional stuff, but I mean, this technology is not going away, and stopping it from happening is not going to do much. Even if you get in there and you start regulating these ICOs, I think it's cool that they're willing to do this. I think it legitimizes cryptocurrency a little bit more in the eyes of the non-technical, actually even the technical. But I could also see a lot of the other side of the tech industry who oppose cryptocurrency saying, I'm not spending money, tax dollars on this type of thing. I think it's cool. I think it's cool because it's, putting some more power behind it, but at the same time, we're moving more into the regulation. So
I wonder what this person's actually going to be doing. Like I guess we have a big enough need in Florida from a scam perspective. I guess I don't know to watch out for scammers. I mean, but so with this industry being what it is and how remote everyone is, how I don't know, scams can happen anywhere. Like you don't have to. It's not like just a Florida thing. Like I'm wondering what specifically is going to happen at like a state level that he can actually do. You know what I mean?
well, the states are going to rise up. I mean, look at the Alabama Security Commission sending a cease and desist to the Platinum Coin from Miami so that they wouldn't be issuing securities for Alabama.
The South will
So now
rise
you gotta-
again.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Civil War.
The crypto wars. All right. Last story. $731 million have been stolen from crypto exchanges in 2018. So we're halfway through the year, guys. Halfway through the years. And we are sitting at $731 million stolen. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I mean, we talk about hacks, pretty much every week.
Is it on the incline? Does it say if it's on the incline or if it's just kind of like if it's level or?
Well, they said last year was 266 million.
Yeah, but I mean, like for 2018 for the first half, do we see an increase month to month?
Oh, I don't think month to month because we had like I don't remember what month it was. Probably like I can't remember if it was March or April when the coin check thing happened. That was like 500 million right there. Like that was the big part of it right there.
Yeah, that's 500 million. Yeah, they said. I mean, in the first half, we have triple the amount versus all of 2017. But yeah, the coin check, 500 million. That one really.
Yeah, that was March. Or wait, hold on. Nope, February. Yeah, so February is when we had the $500 million hack. So,
yeah. So my question is too, and is like, the guys who got the 500 million, like nobody got caught or. Yeah, like what happened? And all
What are
we
you
know,
doing
like,
with it?
resolution. Yeah, what are they doing with it? Like, are they, or it's just like one of those things where like, yeah, I have the money, but I'm kind of just living my life,
Or you get all that money, then you lose the private key, and then you're screwed.
Yeah.
And then it's out there in limbo, and nobody's ever going to get it back.
Yeah.
It's like me with half my wallets.
Got to do a backup of a backup of a backup.
Exactly.
3 backups. And then that little metal thing you bury in your backyard.
Yeah, what was that thing called? The crypto hex?
Yeah. I mean, for every time I hear a story about somebody losing their private key, I'm like, man, I should go bury one of those. Just in case, right? But
Pretty sure if we do that in Arizona, it's going to melt.
No, well, you can make it out of unobtainium or some other kind of movie material that doesn't exist, that will never melt.
That's true.
Well, I think that's pretty much it, guys.
Right on the dollar.
All right.
All right. Well, I guess we shall see you guys next week. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at CoinSec Podcast. Keep an eye on coinsecpodcast.com for links from the show. Subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app. And we actually did get our first review, so that's awesome. Thank you to our first reviewer. Yes. If you like the show, please leave us a review. We'd love to hear from you guys. And honestly, any ideas, if you have an idea for an episode, feel free to hit us up on Twitter or leave us a review. Alrighty, guys. We shall see you next week. Have a great weekend.
See ya.
All right. Later, guys.
Bye.